Day 274 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today we're switching gears from spiritual health and well-being, and this month we are going to focus every day on physical health and well-being, some sort of physical health and health and well-being. I do that about a couple times a month. I'll mix those up. Maybe I should think of a different way of describing it. So we have a 9-part life framework that I share and I teach, and I've done it for years, and yet I still have not updated my graphic for it, right? Maybe one of these days, but I write backwards because I record on an Android phone, and it doesn't do the flip yet. I think AI or something can do it, but I haven't bothered to figure it out. So, usually, physical is the first thing I do every year. I've been using this framework for decades personally, and I thought, why am I not sharing that with anybody? That's what has kept me going through all of the ups and downs of life. Why wouldn't I share that with other people? So I started sharing it, and usually the first month of the year, we map out what are we going to do in this year's annual challenge. We look at different processes and things, and we come up with our own process for improving any one of these areas and aspects of our life. Then we apply it every month throughout the year so we can practice it, make it our own, and actually put it in our personal toolbox so whenever we need it, we can pull it up and use it. If we want to make improvements or face challenges in any area and aspect of our life. So this is the 9th area. We're doing physical last. And like I said, this year it's backwards. I usually do it in February, or I used to do it in January, and I'm like, okay, it's too much to come up with the challenge, map out the framework, and cover one of the 9 life framework areas. So let's change that. So that was one of the first things I changed. So what we do now is the first day of a new life framework area, we talk about what is your definition of that. Because it's interesting, but we get to decide as human beings what everything means to us. Every word, every feeling, every belief, every sensation, everything. We define it all, and that's what creates our own personal reality. And guess what? My reality is actually different than your reality, and your reality is different than everybody else's on the planet. And so that's one of the cool things about being humans. We get to decide what the definition of things is for us. Now, if we want to get along with other humans on the planet, it behooves us to explain that to them. Hey, this is what I mean by physical health and well-being. What do you mean by physical health and well-being? What does it mean for you? And that is our action item today. We're going to come up with and write it down, because we write everything down to capture it in our annual challenge notebook. I think I should make physical annual challenge notebooks, and then everybody's got one, and we're all on the same page. Maybe next year. So, physical health and well-being. What does it mean to you? Maybe it's a certain BMI. Maybe it's, I don't like the BMI measure personally. Doesn't turn out very well for me. Your weight. Maybe your pounds or kilograms of weight is something that you want it to be this ideal thing, or in this little small range. I always like mine to be within a 5-pound range, because I know that we vary up and down and up and down. And I will admit, when I was younger, I was one of the worst yo-yo dieters and eaters on the planet. I remember going on we'll maybe talk about this later in the month, but I went on a protein diet where all I had was liquid protein. Those are very bad diets, by the way, and they totally screw up your metabolism. But I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV or on the internet. I just can share what has and has not worked for me. That worked for me. I got really, really skinny, but in about a week or 2 weeks, I gained all the weight back, and felt, of course, terrible about myself. Anyway, so maybe it's a weight, a number on the scale. And my whole point of that was I don't hardly ever weigh myself. Once a year when I go to my heart doctor, which is next week. Speaking of physical things, we'll talk about that, the different things that impact our health. Maybe it's like right now I've got a drippy nose. Whole family's got a little bit of a cold, but all I've got is a drippy nose. I can live with that. Maybe it's, illness or lack of illness, or, perfect health to me is lack of illness. But how do you define it? What components are in it? Maybe it's a level of energy or activity. Maybe it's stamina. Maybe it's heart rate. Maybe it's blood pressure. Whatever it is for you, how do you define physical health and well-being? Maybe it's how you look, right? Maybe it's how you look in your clothes. Maybe it's how you feel in your clothes. We can pull other areas of the life framework in to help us define it. But either put done in the comments below or share your definition of physical well-being and health. What does it mean to you? I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do it today right along with you. But some of the things to me are, I wake up energized and ready to face my day. I am my certain weight range, which I'm probably on the very high side of it. I'll find out next week because I'm not going to weigh myself till I go to the doctor. And maybe it's amount of energy, amount of sleep, amount of hydration, whatever. You can find ways, and we will find ways this month to measure it. But I want to know right now, before we even get started, what does physical health and well-being mean and look like to you? What does it feel like to you? I guess we could add all of our senses, right? That's a great tool to use for this. You know, who, what, where, when, why, and how. Of course, who is you? What is physical health and well-being? What's your definition of it? Why? Why is it important? It's important because until we actually clearly understand what our definition of it is, maybe we find out that our definition of physical health and well-being is like when we were a teenager, and then we're now 65 years old, and that doesn't apply anymore. It's not even an appropriate measure. Maybe we find out by looking at this, who, what, where, when, why, how we maintain that or achieve that level of physical health and well-being that we want, right? Because that's what this challenge is all about, doing one thing every day to move us toward the desired outcome and the desired state, and then continually improve from there. So that's it. That's our challenge for today. Any questions about this, just ask. Otherwise, go out, make it an amazing day. Maybe get out in the sun, get outside, get some fresh air, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.